In the sweltering heat of the Arizona summer in 1977, Charles "Chuck" Morgan was a man living in a state of absolute, calculated terror. To his neighbors in Tucson, he was a successful, middle-aged escrow agent, a family man who handled land titles and paperwork. But the man who looked back at them through the window of his home was wearing a high-grade bulletproof vest every single hour of the day. He had installed state-of-the-art security cameras when they were still a luxury for millionaires. He had a weapon in every room. He told his wife, Ruth, that he was working as an undercover agent for the Treasury Department, fighting a shadow war against a massive money laundering ring. Most people would call this a mental breakdown, but on June 18, 1977, the paranoia became reality. Chuck Morgan vanished from his home. 9 days later, his body was found in the middle of the desert, miles from civilization. He was still wearing his bulletproof vest. He had been shot in the back of the head, and inside his clothing was a $2 bill that acted as a map to a world of organized crime, secret rooms, and a mystery that in 2026 is only just beginning to be unraveled. The mystery didn't start in the desert. It started months earlier in the middle of the night. On a random evening in early 1977, Chuck vanished for 3 days. His family was frantic. When he finally reappeared, he didn't walk through the front door. He collapsed through it. He was wearing one of his wife's shoes. He was handcuffed with heavy industrial-grade steel. His throat had been coated with a rare hallucinogenic drug that paralyzed his vocal cords. He couldn't speak. He grabbed a notepad and a pen and frantically scribbled, "They've kidnapped me. Don't call the police. They'll kill us all." Chuck claimed he had been taken by men who wanted to know about his work. He spent the next few weeks recovering, but he was never the same. He began carrying a briefcase that never left his side. He told his wife that if anything happened to him, she was to find the $2 bill. At the time, she thought he was delirious. She didn't realize he was giving her the coordinates to his own murder investigation. When the Pima County Sheriff's deputies found Chuck's body on June 27th, they were greeted by a scene that defied logic. Chuck was lying face down in the dirt near his car. He was wearing the vest, which was designed to stop a .357 Magnum, yet he had been killed by a single shot to the base of the skull, the one place the vest didn't cover. Beside him was his briefcase. It was empty, but when the medical examiner performed the autopsy, they found the insurance policy. Taped inside Chuck's underwear was a $2 bill. On the back of the bill were several handwritten notations in black ink. There were 7 names from the Bible, a series of map coordinates, and a cryptic reference to a secret room. Even more bizarre, a key to a safe deposit box had been surgically, or at least very professionally, hidden inside a hollowed-out tooth in Chuck's mouth. The police quickly ruled it a suicide. Their theory, Chuck was a man under immense pressure who drove into the desert and shot himself. But how does a man shoot himself in the back of the head, and why would a man intending to end his life wear a bulletproof vest and go through the extreme physical pain of hiding a key in his tooth? To understand why Chuck Morgan was killed, we have to look at his real job. In 1977, Tucson was a major hub for the Gambino crime family. The mob was buying up massive tracts of Arizona desert to build casinos and housing developments. To do this, they needed someone to clean the money. Chuck Morgan was an escrow agent. In the world of real estate, the escrow agent is the gatekeeper of the cash. We have since discovered that Chuck was handling land deals for a company called Baja Properties. Baja was a shell company used by the mob to funnel millions of dollars in dirty money from New York into Arizona real estate. Chuck wasn't an agent for the Treasury, he was a cleaner for the mafia. But something went wrong. Perhaps he took a cut, perhaps he saw a name he wasn't supposed to see, or perhaps, as some documents suggest, he actually did try to become an informant to save his family. He was a man caught between the deadliest organization in America and a government that didn't know he existed. The $2 bill found on Chuck's body is a masterpiece of cryptic communication.
Let's break down what we know in 2026. First, the names: Ecclesiastes, Ruth, and Abigail. These weren't just Bible characters. Investigators found that Ecclesiastes was the code name for a high-level courier who had disappeared in Las Vegas 6 months prior. Second, the coordinates. The numbers on the bill led to a specific set of GPS-style markers in the desert. When private investigators followed them years later, they found a small, unmarked concrete bunker hidden under a rock formation. Inside the bunker was a radio transmitter, and evidence that someone had been monitoring the area for months. Third, the Bible verse, Ecclesiastes 12, 1-8. This verse is famous for the line, "Or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken." In the world of occultism and secret societies, the silver cord is the link between the soul and the body. In the world of the mob, breaking the golden bowl is slang for a hit on someone who has stolen from the till. Chuck wasn't just leaving a map, he was leaving a confession. He was telling whoever found the bill exactly why he was killed and who ordered it. Days after Chuck's body was found, a mysterious woman calling herself Abigail called the Pima County Sheriff's Office. She claimed she had been with Chuck in the desert. She said he had shown her a briefcase full of $100 bills and told her it was his getaway money. She claimed that Chuck had met with 2 men in a white van and that he had gone with them willingly. Then she hung up and was never heard from again. Was Abigail a witness, or was she the honeypot used to lure Chuck into the desert? In many mob hits of the 70s, a female associate was used to put the target at ease before the cleaners arrived. The fact that her name was on the $2 bill suggests Chuck knew exactly who she was and that she was his death sentence. To see the true scale of this conspiracy, we have to look at what was happening in Arizona at the time. Just 1 year before Chuck died, another investigative reporter named Don Bowles was blown up by a car bomb in Phoenix. Bowles was investigating the exact same land fraud ring that Chuck Morgan was handling the paperwork for. When Bowles was dying in the rubble of his car, his final words were, "Mafia, Emprise, Adamson." Chuck's files contained references to the same companies Bowles was investigating. It is highly likely that Chuck was the inside man who was feeding information to Bowles. When Bowles was assassinated, Chuck knew he was next. The bulletproof vest wasn't paranoia, it was a desperate attempt to stay alive long enough to hide the evidence. Why are we still talking about this today? Because in 2026, a new set of documents was unsealed regarding the Gambino family's activities in the Southwest. These documents mention a technical consultant who was helping the family move money through automated escrow systems, an early form of digital money laundering. Chuck Morgan was a math genius. He wasn't just a paper pusher, he was an architect of a system that predated modern wire transfers. The $2 bill wasn't just a map to a bunker, it was a key to a much larger digital treasure. Some believe the safe deposit box key found in his tooth led to a ledger that contained the names of every crooked politician in Arizona who was on the mob's payroll. That ledger has never been found. It is the golden bowl of the Tucson desert. Charles Morgan was a man who tried to live 2 lives. In one, he was a father and a businessman. In the other, he was a shadow, moving millions of dollars for the most dangerous men in the world. When those 2 lives collided, Chuck knew he couldn't win, so he did the only thing he could. He turned his own death into a puzzle. He turned his body into a crime scene that could never be closed. He died in the dirt wearing a vest that couldn't save him, but he left behind a $2 bill that serves as a permanent reminder that the desert holds more than just heat and sand. It holds the secrets of men who knew too much. What do you think was in that empty briefcase? Was it money, or was it the names of the men who eventually caught up with him? And where is the ledger today? Let us know your theories in the comments. If you want more stories of coded mysteries and unsolved hits, subscribe and hit the bell. This is Unsolved Plus. Keep searching for the truth.